We're gonna combine Elvis with a rooster, and then we're gonna make a movie about it. Woo! It's 2019. How's everyone doing? Welcome back. I'm certainly glad to be home, back in my comfort zone, and we're just gonna get right into it with this review of Rock-a-doodle. Now, it's like cock-a-doodle-doo because, it's about a rooster, but, he's a rock star, so they named it Rock-a-doodle because it's, play on words. It's pretty funny. You get it? Huge shout out to my sister Ashley for suggesting I watch this film. She swore up and down that I've seen this movie before when I was little, and when I rewatch movies that I don't remember seeing, I tend to get, all those repressed memories of like, oh yeah, I've seen this before. And after watching this movie, I can 100% confirm, Ashley, that I have never seen this movie before. Rock-a-doodle is about a rooster named Chanticleer who's like a rock star on his farm, and everyone believes that when he crows or caws, whatever cock-a-doodle-doos do, that the sun comes up. And one day he forgets to cock-a-doodle-doo, and the sun comes up anyway, so everyone's like, oh, you suck, Chanticleer, and he goes to the big city to like hide in shame. But then once he leaves, a big storm comes, and like the sun just goes away because there's a lot of clouds and stuff, and it's flooding the farm. So a kitten named Edmund, who's not really a kitten, but I'll get into that later, and like 4 other animals go off to the big city to bring Chanticleer back so he can cock-a-doodle-doo and bring the sun back. I don't know what it is about older animated films, especially like in the 90s and 80s, where I don't know, they're just aesthetically, I'm not good at words, aesthetically pleasing to the eyes. Like everything is just hand drawn, and this is before all the the CGI and the 3D animation like you see in Toy Story. So like everything had to be drawn, and just the colors they use is just really beautiful. They do like a lot of aurora borealises in this film that look really beautiful, especially when anytime Chanticleer is doing his cock-a-doodle-doo rock star music thing and the sun comes up. It does a really amazing job of like showing the sun rays like peering out over the horizon. It's really beautiful to watch. But the only time the animation gets a little buggy for me is when it like mixes the real world and the cartoon world. Now, earlier I said Edmund is not a real kitten. That's because he's a real life little boy that was turned into a kitten by the bad guy. So he goes from like a real live action boy into a cartoon. And just those scenes where he's like a real boy but in a cartoon world, like briefly, it just kind of like makes everything look buggy and fuzzy. I didn't like that. And anytime real life actors appeared in this movie, because it goes back and forth just a little bit in the beginning, just the acting just drops in quality. I'm just like, just go back to cartoon land. That's where everything was good. The voice acting is really good in the cartoon world, but in the real life world, they were awful. I wanted them to go away. This movie didn't need that. Chanticleer the rooster had some awesome singing though in this movie. I really liked the little Elvis thing he had going on. He was doing all the hips and he had like an Elvis-like voice. And I really liked his songs. But what was really annoying is that the movie would interrupt his songs. Like while he was singing, the song would become like a background to a conversation or a voiceover of another character. And I'm just like, shut up, let me hear his song, because like you got a potential album here and this is really good and I want to memorize the song, but I can't because I gotta hear what this mouse has to complain about. I also really like the character designs that were used in this movie. Like Chanticleer looked really cool to me for a rooster, and something that really stood out to me, and it's like they weren't even a real big part of the movie, they were just the henchmen, but they were bouncers for Chanticleer when he became big time in the city. And like his little security guards, they're called bouncers, but they were frogs, and because frogs bounce. And I was just like, that was really cool. They were my favorite characters, even though they were just henchmen. They were bouncers, frogs, bounce. This movie was okay. I wouldn't go far as to say is bad. It's definitely okay. It's good for a kid's movie. Kids will definitely enjoy watching this film. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a mind blower when it came out in '92, I believe, and that's the same year Aladdin came out. So it definitely doesn't rank up the high kid movie list. But it's an okay movie. It does have its issues throughout, which, make it less appealing to most people. But overall, yeah, go see it.
Yeah, this movie gets a Batman heroic rating. It ain't bad. It ain't bad. It ain't great. It ain't bad.
Give one more huge shout out to my sister Ashley. Thank you so much for recommending this film. And everyone else, for that matter, I want you to recommend movie films that you'd like me to review down in the comments below. Also, feel free to leave any feedback, any disagreements or agreements. Let's talk about it. Let's have a nice big conversation down in the comments below. And I'll see you all next week for another episode of A-Town Reviews. Have an awesome 2019. Baron, sign us out. Say bye. Hey, goodbye.